Are you still troubled by the problem of writing the requirements document? This video can help you quickly solve this problem. Today, in this video, we will compare using general Word, Excel, or online editors to edit the requirements document and automate its structure, and using MappingSpace to compare the efficiency of doing this. In the enterprise, most of the time, our requirements document are written in this form or in the form of Word or PDF, which are directly sent to us by customers, or in an online editor, such as Bioshock and other tools. We use an online editor to write them. After writing such requirements document, after that, the next step, we need to establish traceability and test. To establish traceability, and test force to establish traceability, task assignment, and so on. So we need to consider taking such requirements document to extract the specific requirement, to do task assignment, and so on. At this time, the common pattern is to use a form of a table, similar to this Excel sheet now, to split the requirements into one by one, and fill in other relevant information. In the traditional way, we need to do this step manually. For example, if there are 44 requirements, if I need to break them down, it will take me half a day, or 1 person day. After splitting them, to establish traceability, show I need a feeling. I need to fill in my test case ID, what the architecture ID, and so on. My test cases generally exist in the form of Excel. For example, this is a document of my test case, so you can see that it has its own corresponding number. So on the requirements side, the corresponding number of test cases to do a traceability. But what are the problems with doing this? Many times do this. For example, now I need to increase the number of test cases. When I write test cases, I have a certain idea. For example, I need to, for this sensor module, to add a test force. One way is to edit here. Another way is to add it at the end. Obviously, for the sake of logical integrity, it is more appropriate to add it here. But after I edit here, what about its number? Once, my numbering needs to start from the beginning. The numbers behind will be modified. After the modification, the requirements document here, and the numbering over there will not match. There is another way, although I put it here, but I still manually assign the number to ensure that it does not repeat the previous one. I'll use TC36 to number it. Okay, in this case, it will certainly affect other test cases. Did one have any impact? But the number, it has a certain order difference. If someone modifies this part later, it will also lead to this problem. There's another situation. For example, when making modifications to test cases, I find that this test case is no longer valid, so I would like this test case. But often, when the test engineer is doing this, he wouldn't think of saying that he needs to make updates by referring to the requirements document. This will result in the requirement being traced back to this test case from 07. However, in this case, this test case has been deleted here. This will lead to the failure of the entire retroactive process. Because of these manual steps, creating a structured, traceable requirements set is expensive. Today we demonstrate how to do it in MappingSpace. We start with the same Word or PDF file. We use MappingSpace as import function to turn the file into structured items without losing information. Open MappingSpace, click Create. Choose Batch Import. Select Software Requirements. The import finishes. Open the project. Let's compare the two documents. On the left is our original Word document, and on the right is the document after we imported it. We see that the complete table of contents is preserved. Open any module, for example software requirements, and every heading together with its descriptive text is already an individual item. MappingSpace has automatically split the document into a granular, traceable structure. With the requirements now itemized, we can build traceability in seconds. Open a test case file. Each case already carries an ID. Take ID S88 and 89, search for them inside the requirement traceability view, and link them to the relevant requirement. Even if a test case is deleted later, the link disappears automatically. No manual update is needed. The same import works for PDF files. Choose PDF, Import. Open the result, compare with the source. And you will find headings, bilingual text, and images all turned into structured items. After import, you can add priority, severity, or any other field just as easily. To summarize, with traditional tools we have to break the document into items by hand, which is slow, and the traceability we build is fragile. Any deletion or insertion breaks the links and the matrix becomes a maintenance burden. With MappingSpace, the import is automatic, traceability is robust, every change is versioned. Overall efficiency increases by at least a factor of 5. Now, let's utilize the AI capabilities in the MappingSpace to create a requirements document and then convert it into an itemized structure, and this will result in a higher level of efficiency. Let's take a look. For instance, right now we ask him to help us write a system requirements document for the BCM and ECU controllers on the car. You can choose different models here. Let's take a look at how well this generated requirements document is written. If we think this requirements document generally meets our needs, we can simply convert it directly into a system requirements document within the system. We have reviewed and found it complete. This method is even more efficient and swift. It enables us to quickly produce a complete system document at once. Based on this, we can make further modifications and edits to it. Finally, we will use a table to compare the differences between the two sides when creating a requirements document using a traditional editor to construct 50 structured requirements. However, if you use mind maps to create it, it will be much faster. The overall efficiency will increase by at least 5 times. When making the modifications, the traditional Word does not have a history record, so the historical records need to be manually saved. For the MappingSpace, any modification made can create a historical record. Thirdly, the connection with subsequent processes mainly refers to traceability. The traceability in the subsequent steps can be traced very conveniently and seamlessly, so it can be seen that using the MappingSpace to handle this task will significantly improve the overall efficiency. It seems that the efficiency has really improved a great deal, doesn't it? Interested friends, come and click the link at the bottom left to give it a try.